Ashe. Ashe and Grand Rising once again to you all, my very beautiful people. Yes, you my highly enriched melanin people, you the Earth's original and organic humans, aka my fellow Africans. It is I, the Mystic Philosopher, and yes, it is evident that I'm still here with you on this side of reality. And welcome back to the Mystic P is talking again on the 15 minutes with I, the Mystic Philosopher, episode 46. Yes, I've been missing, I did miss a day, I skipped a few days, but I'm back. This may be a little bit over 15 minutes, so I ask for your forgiveness if it does go over 15. I'll try my best to keep it within 15 minutes. Now, my main topic, or the main topic of this series of talks, as you're now aware of, is stress on the mind, or more correctly, the impact that this thing called stress has on the thing that we humans call mind. And from the Mystic Philosopher's perspective, the solution to this problem or to this disease called stress can or it may be found in and by understanding and overstanding the want equation, namely want is equal to money, which is equal to stress, which is equal to unhappiness. And so by putting into practice the knowledge that can be gained from this profound equation, they have a solution. And the quote that I've been using to make my points and to illustrate my points is from the Adamic race history book in accordance to the 23rd Psalm, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. So, to begin this episode 46, I would like to do a recap and place some more emphasis on some of the very important points that I made in episode 45. And it is my honest and sincere intention that you do not miss them, and that you will also fully understand, and understand them. And one point in particular that I fully intend that you do not miss is in this, that I told you in no uncertain terms that you must remember that when we speak and when we use words that we are performing magic. With our words, we are performing magic with our words. Must remember that we are planting or sowing seeds into the universe. And our practical life experiences show that we will reap what we sow. Therefore, if we so want, we can and we will only reap more want. Consequently, we cannot and we will never be truly fulfilled and truly happy. But that we will always be empty. In other words, we will always be a slave to the disease called want. Now, here are two very important points. And to be even more accurate and precise, let me restate that. Here are two very important facts. Fact number one, yes, when we speak, meaning when we utter meaningful sounds, and when we use words, meaning when we speak, write, and read, etc., we are indeed performing magic. However, the very important point and the very important fact that I intend to point out to you here and for you all, my melanin people, to get it and to understand, and overstand it, is this: the phrase "with our words." Now, please let me repeat: with our words. When we speak, meaning when we utter meaningful sounds, and when we use words, meaning when we speak, write, and read, etc., we are indeed performing magic. The fact number two is this: these are not, and I repeat, these are not our words. Full stop, period, whichever one you want to use. These words that we are using are not our words. Or to break it down even simpler, these words that I am talking are these words that I am making, and that you, my melanin people, these words that I'm talking and making, you, my melanin people, that you, my melanin people, are listening to, they are not our words. These words that I'm making you listen to right now, these sounds that I'm making are not our sounds. And anyone, and especially those that are from among us, and those that look like us, that are in the know, but are still telling you, and that these words are ours, or anyone that is trying to con you and to convince you into believing that that these words are ours, please tell them that I, the Mystic Philosopher, unapologetically say that not only are they liars and malicious deceivers, and that as systems educated, systems trained, accepted, and systems sanctioned and positioned as they may be, tell them I say that they are educated fools and idiots as well. These words and this language, and many of the languages that we, my people, my African people, across the globe are using are not our language, are our languages. These words that I am now using and that you are now listening to me speak, and that some of you so-called bright scholars, and especially you cocky and insolent black ones, that think you know, understand, pronounce, and speak them so eloquently, so refined, and so well, and are our most honorable African ancestors. These words are our most honorable African ancestors' enemies' words. They are our most honorable African ancestors' conquerors. They're slave traders, they're slave masters, and they're murderers, they're persecutors and oppressors, or should I say down pressers. It is our African ancestors' malevolent foes' words, and their malevolent foes' heirs and successors' words and language, and by extension, they are our malevolent enemies and foes' language and languages. They are not our words, and this is not a language that some of us, in their gross ignorance and arrogance, should so-called take pride in uttering from our lips, let alone showing off on our fellow melanin people as to how well they know it, and as to how well we can speak it and write it, etc. This language is called the English language, and it is not by accident why it is called and named the English language. It means that it belongs to the Adamic race, Caucasoid, Anglo-Saxon, English/British people. And if by now you, my melanin African people, don't know who and what these people are and what they have done to our most honorable African ancestors, and by extension what they have done to us and what they are doing to us now and what they intend to do to us should we make it into that which they call the future, or into the so-called future, then not only have you been living under a rock in some isolated and God-forsaken part of the earth and cut off from sunlight, but you might as well be dead. So if you are sensible enough to agree that these are not our words, and that this is not our language, or the language and that it is not the language or mother tongue of our most honorable African ancestors, then even though reluctantly, but by logical deduction, you will agree, and you must agree, that the magic that is being performed when we speak, when we write, or when we in any way use these our enemies' words are not to our advantage. The magic is not to our advantage. In other words, the magic that these words are performing is not working in our favor or to our advantage, but that they are working to the favor of and the advantage of our enemies, aka our malevolent foes. You will, and you must also agree, that one of the reasons why we have no power as individuals, and especially as a people, the melanin people, the African people, it is because we are speaking and using our enemies' words and their language and languages while hoping for solutions to the grave challenges that we faced with them around. While hoping, using it while hoping for salvation, for redemption, while hoping for survival, and while hoping to conquer and overcome them, while hoping to find peace and to live in peace with them and among them, etc., etc. You will, and you must also agree, and you will, and you must agree, that this is the reason why they will tell us that our words have no power, because they know that these are not our words. This is the reason why we will even tell each other from time to time that their words have no effect on us. We talk to each other and say your words have no effect on us. This is the reason why, regardless of how passionate and how passionate we may speak, or how passionate we may pray and cry out loud for mercy, how passionate we may cry out for justice, for deliverance, for peace, for equal rights, for survival, for retribution on these our enemies. You name it or you name them, not a damn thing happened, or not a damn thing is favorably happening for us or to us. And only the sheep, the unenlightened, the sleepy souls among us that will disagree and say to the contrary, only them will tell about how much they have a testimony. And to compound the injuries, worst, when we are passionately praying to and calling upon our enemies' God, their saviors, their prophets, their saints, and their holy men and holy women, etc., women, etc., etc. But that too is another topic for another time. Now remember, in episode 43 or 44, I quote a verse of scripture from the Adamic race, history and holy book, and it goes like this: "For he spake and it was done, he commanded and it stood fast," unquote. So please ask and answer yourself this question, and be honest if you can to yourself with the answer. Why when you speak, not a damn thing favorably happen? And why when you command, not a damn thing favorably happen? And why when you call one of your enemies that hurt you, or one that intend to hurt you, a racist, as an example, a bigot, or whatever, not a damn thing favorably happen to them or happen to us? Why when you call an enemy that you know and know of a fact that he or she is a killer, a rapist, a murderer, you name it, not a damn thing favorably happen, or nothing happen in our favor? For example, why when you passionately swear at an enemy and tell him or her to drop dead, and even when you sincerely and literally mean it from the heart, from the core of your being, and wish that it would manifest there and then, right before your very eyes, not a damn thing favorable happen? In fact, they, meaning your enemy or our enemies, might just look at you and laugh at you, or turn around and tell you something that really and truly burn you or really and truly hurt you. Yes, but yet, if or when they, the enemy, call you a nigger, for example, or any of its synonyms, your blood immediately starts to boil like pot on a fire. Or when an enemy or one of their agents that is from among us, one that is indeed with the spirit, induced with the spirit and the power of the enemy, when they tell you, for example, that you are under arrest, your heart sink deeper than a sinkhole. Or when they write you words or write words to you, you name it. Some of you, my regular listeners, will no doubt remember in one of my earlier episodes when I spoke briefly on the power of these things called words, where I told you that it is words that program and control the mind. It is words that program and control our minds, and that it is the mind that program and control the world. However, what I did not tell you then, which I will tell you now, is that we are subjected and subjugated to the language and the owners of the language that we use. But more on this point at another time. Just think about that. Our enemies know and know of a fact that as long as we are using their words and using their language and languages, we are under their spell and their curse. And curses, they know that. They know that we are under their total subjection and subjugation and their total control. They know that we cannot have any real secrets, and nor can we communicate directly to our source and ancestral gods and our ancestors, etc. using their language. They know and know of a fact that when we are using their words and their language and languages, that we are mentally colonized and under their mental colonization. They know that of a fact. They know and know of a fact that we are completely ineffective against them. They know and know of a fact that we cannot effectively curse them and in their own language. And above all, they know and know of a fact that we cannot practice their religion, their customs, and their rituals, and pray to their God and gods, their saviors and prophets, their holy men and holy women and ancestors, you name it, to do jack. Finish it. Jack manure. To them, they know that won't happen. They know we are totally ineffective. They know that we are the ones that are screwed. And just for your information and just in case you did not know, that is the reason why the very first thing that these aliens, these malevolent creatures, aka our enemies, do when they invaded and colonized us, the natural native earthly humans, the Earth's original, the Earth's organic and highly melanated and rich humans, aka Africans, is the first thing they do is to slaughter. They slaughtered all our priests and prophetess. They loot. They destroy our temples and all our sacred places. They tear down and destroy our sacred altars to our source, to our ancestors, and to our ancestral gods. They plundered and stole our artifacts. They violently raped and then murdered our women, our children, and our men. Yes, they rape our men too. Then they burned our records. They belittled and suppressed our language, our words, our languages, and replaced them with theirs. That's why I'm talking and sounding like them, pronouncing their words more than another time. Then they violently tortured and cut out the tongue of our ancestors should they be even caught speaking to each other in their own language and mother tongue or practicing their own spiritual practices. And I could go on and on and on. But this much I will tell you now, from the Mystic Philosopher's perspective. For those of you, my brothers and sisters, for those of you among us that expect for the seeds, for the offspring, for the descendants, for the heirs and successors of these aliens, these evil, these malevolent creatures, to so-called love us, to treat us with respect, with equality and justice, to treat us like humans, as they do to themselves. Well, they're humankind. And for them to behave like us, the Earth's original, organic, and highly melanated humans, when we are functioning in our native and natural state. And for them to behave contrary to that of their own ancestors and blood, and the genes of the gene of resentment and hatred towards us melanin people that they have inherited from their ancestors and at conception. What they have inherited from their ancestors at conception. It's in them blood, it's in them gene, it's in them brain, it's in them spirit, it's all over them. For us to expect for them to be anything other than what they are doing and what they are to us, you mean you're that damn idiot, you fool. You expect them to be anything by the fruit that you should know them. For us to expect anything else better, it means that we are not at all wise. We are idiots. Wake up, my people. Know what you're dealing with. Know thy enemies, as the Chinese philosopher said. If you don't know yourself or you know your enemies, then you might as well, you're twice defeated. Again, thus far in today's episode, I honestly think that I have given you, or at the very least, I honestly think that I may have given some of you, if not all of you, a lot more to think about and possibly to look forward to in my next episode, especially as it relates to, again, to stress, the seed called want, and the want equation, etc., etc. And so, in the interest of time, my goodness, as a farmer God. In the interest of time, I think that I should just pause here for today and ask that you please join me if and when next I'm speaking again in episode 47, where and when I will be talking and sharing with you my perspective on this time and the magical, mystical, and metaphysical aspect of the word want. I will continue to share on that and command and commandment. You shall not want. For you, I shall not want, you shall not want, we shall not want, nor should we be found wanting. So in the meantime and between time, let me please again remind you, my people, that yesterday is history, too is dead and gone. No more to come back. Tomorrow is a mystery, it too may never come, but today is a gift, which is why we call it the present day. And I hereby implore you to live for today. And by live, I mean claim your natural birthright. It is your happiness. Claim your happiness. Let no one steal your joy, my people. Full joy today. For tomorrow may never come. Let's hope for tomorrow. It may never come. And thanks again for listening. I am the Mystic Philosopher. Ashe. I apologize for going over, way over. But I guess you understand. I was just making up for the days missing.